My anger started off an argument between my dad and my mum constantly. I was 6 years old and my parents would be arguing every night.
Every single time I would attend a Friday session, I would find myself manifesting, and I would even try to look within myself to find if there is something wrong with myself.
And they split for a period of 6 weeks, and I'd be staying with my mum, but I'll have an anger building inside of me because I'll be having a grudge, that thinking that it was her fault that my parents had broke up.
The biggest wall in my life, I would say, it was believing and carrying on believing. Because there is differences. Someone can just say, I believe, and then you believe for one day. But what I wanted to do was to believe and keep on believing.
And when they got back together, my mum was pregnant with a little sister that I was gonna have, but she died at birth, which brought up more anger inside of me.
So I made a goal that I wanted to achieve myself. So I set that goal, which was to receive the Holy Spirit. And then whilst I set that goal, I put everything that I was learning through the services myself.
I came to this church where they gave me practical advice, prayers, that helped me to overcome this anger problem.
When everyone was asking the Holy Spirit, the pastor was praying, then I asked. I just had the assurance within myself that this is it, and you have to believe now, because no one else is going to believe for you.
They also taught about faith, how your faith can do anything. So I believe that my faith can help me do the impossible by making me controlled, not being angry no more.
So from that day on, I started seeing changes.
Today, my impossible has become possible because my anger that I thought I wasn't going to get rid of is now gone. I'm now a happier person.
Within myself, I have peace. And when God is speaking, most importantly, I am able to actually hear His voice and actually do what He's asking me to do. And yeah, this is the new Samuel today.
Hello, a very good evening. Welcome to Finding Answers. I don't know if you ever had the experience, the feeling that you wanted to get something done in a space of time, whether it was in a day, whether it was a course, whether it was a promotion at work within a certain amount of time, and you feel like you didn't get it done, and you felt frustrated. And sometimes a day turns into a week, and a week turns into a month, and when you least expect, a year has gone by. And actually, I don't know if you've noticed, but we're almost into half of the year. We're in the 5th month of the year. I have here in my hands a clock, right? Don't know if you can see there. I have a clock. Let me see if I can get this straight. And this is your life. Although I've put the clock to count down 3 minutes, but this is basically how your life is. You have a limited amount of time. Whatever you want to achieve, you have to achieve within that time. Because if you don't, if you let time pass by, if you let, you think you have plenty of time, and then actually it seems like time is passing by very quickly, and then you wanted to do something that you didn't really get to do, at some point, you're going to run out of time. And perhaps you feel already like you're running out of time. Please, if you can get the clock back on. You see that you have there 50 seconds. And the thing is, most people don't know how long they have left. I'm not talking about you dying and whether you go to heaven or hell. I'm talking about achieving your goals within the time frame that you have. I'm talking about realizing your dreams, achieving your dreams, all the things you want to do, getting them done while you're here. Because You know, time is a luxury that many people want and few have. And I'm sure that you are watching me now, and there are things that you wanted to have done and you didn't do it because you ran out of time. Perhaps you wanted to have spent more time with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones. You see, it's ringing now. I don't know if you can hear that at home. I let it ring on purpose, right? Because when your time is up, that's what happens. That's what happens. You can't do anything about it. You can't extend the time that you have. And maybe you feel that you've reached an age where you're supposed to achieve a lot. You consider yourself to be an underachiever. You consider yourself to be someone that you haven't made the most of the time that you had, perhaps with your family. Maybe you could not become the father that you wanted to become. You couldn't become the mother that you wanted to become. You feel that there's a lot that was left undone and you should have done it. And maybe you want to redeem the time that you've lost. Perhaps while everyone around you has achieved so many things, you have been left at the back of the queue. And no one perhaps highlights this to you. No one throws this in your face, but maybe you feel like that. You feel like everyone else you know that studied with you, that went to university with you, that started in your workplace with you, they've gone forward and you've been left back. And time is passing you by. Perhaps when your child, son, daughter, when they have their parents' evening, or I think they call it, what do they call, Michael, when the dad goes to the son's school and he talks about what his job is? Do they do that here, or is it America they do that?
Probably it's more American.
Probably it's an American thing. But maybe if someone asks you what you do, you're embarrassed of telling them. Not that your job is not honest. Please, I don't want you to call the program and say, oh, I'm so offended with what you said. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to think how many times people have asked you how your life is, what you do. And maybe you're embarrassed of talking about it because that's not the place where you want it to be. Maybe you avoid calling your family back home if you have family in another country. Maybe you avoid telling people the state of your life because you're embarrassed about it. Because by the time that has passed by, your life should be very different. And again, if you may have the most honest job in the world, and maybe you take pride in doing your job well, but that's not what you want to do perhaps. So maybe the thing is that time is passing you by and the alarm clock is going, telling you that you don't have a lot of time left, and you feel like you're starting to panic. When you're doing an exam at school and you have 20 questions left, and then the examiner says you have 10 minutes in which to do those 20 questions, you start to panic. You don't know what to write, which ones to leave behind. Maybe that's how you feel with your life right now. Maybe I'm talking to someone right now who says, James, I am running out of time. Perhaps you're running out of time because of a sickness, and really you've been told that there isn't a lot of time left. You that say, James, I no longer have the privilege of time. I no longer have the privilege of thinking that I have so much time to do whatever I want, and I'm losing my mind over this. I think I failed in my life. I don't want to fail anymore. I want to change my life. I want to see if I still have time to turn things around. Is there time still to turn my life around? Can there be hope for me with the little time that I have left, or perhaps a lot of time you think you have left? Maybe you watch me and you're 20 years old, 25 years old. You think you have a whole life ahead of you, and the thing is you don't know when your alarm clock is going to ring. You don't know when your time is up. But maybe you feel this. You feel like you have wasted a lot of time. Not because you wanted to waste it, but no matter how hard you worked, you feel that you've fallen just before the last hurdle. Listen, we can overcome these hurdles together. You that feel like we just said here, and you want to talk to someone about it. Maybe the fact we were highlighting these things, the fact that we were talking about these things, made you just realize how bad your situation is. Not that we want you to feel bad about it. We want you to overcome the situation. If you want to talk to someone about it, there's a team of people right now to speak to you. The number to call is 020-7686-6300, 020-7686-6300. Or you can send us an email to help@findinganswers.tv. If you want to talk to someone, do that now. After the break, I'm going to be speaking to Michael here for a little bit about this, and then I'll be speaking to Vida, who is here with me in the studio, and she overcame the time that she was losing. Her life wasn't moving forward, but something she did made her to redeem all the time that she had lost rather. So you that feel like you have no more time left to, the time to change your life had gone, I beg to differ. I believe that things can change. If you need to talk to us, we'll be here. We're going to go into a break. We'll be right back.
What I love about him is that he always cares about me. He's very caring. His own way, he's always worried about how my day has been, if I have eaten, what I do. And I really love when he surprises me when I'm not expecting. Like out of the blue, he comes with a bunch of roses and I'm not expecting, then it really makes my day.
I love everything about her, but the best is her eyes. When she looks at me, I love her eyes. And she attracts me, and the eyes are amazing. By the way, she's an excellent cook. I'm not just saying this in front of everybody. Well, the Love Talk seminar helped me a lot, to understand our differences. Especially when you are single, you don't have this understanding. But the seminar helped me to understand that women think differently from men. So I believe that helped our relationship to grow, to develop even more.
This is your UCKG timetable. We are open 7 days a week, helping you to make a new beginning. Mondays, a meeting focused on achieving more in your financial life. Tuesdays, prayers for healing. Wednesdays, a meeting teaching you to develop in your spiritual life. Thursdays, a special prayer for the family. Friday, a service for your spiritual deliverance. Saturdays, Find the One, a service specifically tailored for your love life. Sundays, Reconnect with God, the main meeting for your spiritual strength.
Welcome back. I want you to watch this video that's going to put time into perspective. Have a look.
Imagine there is a bank that credits your account each morning with $86,400. It carries over no balance from day to day. And every evening, it deletes whatever part of the balance you failed to use during that day. What would you do? Draw out every cent. Each one of us has such a bank. It's called time. Every morning it credits you with 86,400 seconds. And every night, it writes off as lost whatever you have failed to invest wisely. It carries over no balance. It allows no overdraft. Each day it opens a new account for you. And if you fail to use the day's deposit, the loss is yours. There is no going back. There is no drawing against the tomorrow. You must live in the present on today's deposit, invested in every opportunity. The clock is running. You've got to make the most of today, right here, right now.
Right here, right now, 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 right here, right now.
To realize the value of 1 year, ask a student who failed a grade. To realize the value of 1 month, ask a mother who gave birth to a premature baby. To realize the value of 1 week, ask the editor of a weekly newspaper. To realize the value of 1 hour, ask a person who just missed a train. To realize the value of 1 second, ask a person who narrowly avoided an accident. To realize the value of 1 millisecond, ask the person who took the silver medal in the Olympics. Time waits for no one. Follow up every lead. Make every second count. Always be closing. Every opportunity missed equals money lost. Remember, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
You know, the guy in the video said tomorrow is a mystery. But the thing is, if you're afraid of what's going to happen tomorrow, oh, what if it's a mystery, what if something bad happens, you're never going to do anything in life. And that's where the power of faith comes in. When you live by faith, you're not afraid of what's going to happen tomorrow. Actually, you're excited about tomorrow. Every day when I wake up, I'm excited that I can do something I've never done before. Do you feel like that as well, Michael? Do you like waking up in the morning?
I do.
Unless when you have some hours to rest, then you want to stay in bed a little bit longer, right?
Yeah, but you know, the new day brings new challenges, and you can either look at the day ahead of you and think it's going to be a bore, a chore, you know, I've got to face my problems, or you can look at it and say, there are new challenges I'm going to overcome today. If I don't do it today, there's always tomorrow again.
You were looking at something interesting there on a website you were showing me during the break. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, there's a worldometer website. It counts down things like world population, government, society, etc. And what I noticed, I started looking at this countdown at the top of the program, and
at the beginning of the
program, yeah. And it said 151,000 deaths today. That was today. And since the program, it's counted at 1,750, 1,060. It's now 164. So it's counting all the time the number of deaths today.
So how many people have died in the world from the beginning of this program?
The beginning of this program, it is 1,700 and
something.
90.
1,790.
Now it's 95.
Now you have the privilege, if you're watching me now, you have the privilege of watching me that these people here no longer have. You say, James, how can you be so arrogant to say, I have the privilege of watching you? Maybe I could be watching something else and I would be more privileged watching that. Yeah, but when I say that you're privileged in watching me, it's because you're alive. So being alive is a privilege. The other day someone was telling me, Michael, that there are people in a bed of a hospital right now fighting to live. Tooth and nail to stay alive. And there are others who are in perfect health who say that they want to die. Look, I want to die. I don't want to be in this world anymore. They even try to commit suicide. Look at the opposites. right? One wants more time. If I only had more time, the other one has time and doesn't want to use it.
Actually, I visited someone in hospital on Monday evening. The relative was on a life support machine and they wanted to switch off the machine and the family were around them. And we went there, me and another colleague of mine, and we prayed. The doctors were giving up hope. They were saying, look, her life is coming to an end. She's going to die tonight. But we went and we prayed, and out of the blue, they started to see a recovery in the body. And now they've kind of added more tubes, the family said, and they're starting to give her new medication to try to bring her back to life. So, you know, her time looked limited, but through prayer, you know, her life seems to be extending.
And that comes to show that, you know, whatever time we have to use it. It's like that video said, you have, you know, 86,000 something minutes every single day, and you need to make the most of those, not minutes, sorry, seconds. And if you need to make the most of that. If you don't, you're never going to get those back. I want to introduce you to someone right now that she wasted, not that she wasted purposely, but she lost a lot of time in her life because of problems. You know, it wasn't deliberate, but she started to redeem that time. I have here with me tonight Vida. How are you, Vida?
Oh, well, thank you.
You okay?
Good.
Vida, you wasted a lot of time. Not wasted, I don't want to use this word, but you lost a lot of time because of certain problems you were going through, right?
Yeah.
Tell us, how was your life before coming to church?
As you said, I wasted.
You wasted as well. Not just lost, but you wasted.
Yeah, because most of the wasting time was wrong decision making, postponing things, and not having the belief in myself to do certain things. Yeah.
What would you postpone?
I put my life on hold and rather helping others, but not doing anything about my life. I would say I was so content with the situation that I was in. I was in self-denial, not believing in myself, not understanding that there's something in my life that I could do.
But tell me something, were you content because things were good, or were you content because you had accepted all the problems that were happening to you?
I accepted defeat.
Right.
Yeah, I never believed that anything good would come out of my life.
So give us a picture of how your life was. You said you accepted defeat, you accepted the problems. How was your life before?
I married at the age of 23 years old, and I divorced at the age of 27.
So it was a short-lived marriage.
Yes. And I never believed that anybody would want me anymore. And for that reason, I didn't want to do anything to progress in life. At the time I was about to marry, I had the opportunity to go to university to build up a life for myself, but I put my education on hold and married. And in the marriage, I never felt like a companion. I felt like a slave in the family. For that reason, I wasn't worthy of anything.
Right.
And it was through the marriage that I was diagnosed with chronic hepatitis C. And it was incurable. So I never saw myself going beyond anything, really.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like this, you got married, you had before an opportunity to go to university to do something of yourself, but you didn't. You committed yourself to this marriage for a few years. When the marriage ended, you had no education. I mean, you didn't have the education you wanted.
Yes.
And you had chronic hepatitis C, which is a serious illness, right? So you were pretty much, at the end of the marriage, you were pretty much left with nothing.
No, absolutely nothing. And at that time, I had left Ghana, where I was born, to live in England. And I was here on the ticket of my then husband. So at that time, I became illegal.
Right.
And illegal without a work, without a family, without anything. Then there was nothing I could do. It was like a shame to myself. But unfortunately, I was helping other people in other areas of their lives, but I couldn't help myself.
But tell me something, you said that in the marriage, you never felt like a companion. You felt like a slave. Why did you say that?
I was not just married to my husband, but I was married to the whole family. And I had to clean, I had to wash, I had to do certain things, but not doing anything for myself. So I was always left behind and supporting other people to move on in their lives. And I was stagnant.
Were you ever put down?
So many times.
Really? What kind of things would you hear or would be done to you to make you feel down?
Like, because those that I was helping were all had their university degree and masters and what have you, but I was the only person who was lacking education then. So everybody saw me of not being able to do anything for myself.
And would they say that to you?
They would, indirectly.
Right.
Yeah, indirectly. And there were certain places I didn't have the confidence then to go, because I see the people being superior and better than I was at the time.
So you said you got divorced at 27.
Yeah.
So at 27, you were now divorced. You had been in a relationship where you were put down all the time, and you had missed out up until then on the opportunity to go to university. So how did you feel? Did you feel like your clock, your time was running out? Did you feel like that's it? You couldn't do anything anymore? What was going through your head at that point?
Biologically, I was told that I had my menopause at early age, and that was when I was diagnosed with chronic hepatitis C.
Right.
So I knew that nothing good would come out of me anyway. Who would want somebody who has had a chronic hepatitis C? And who would want to marry somebody who cannot bear a child? And who would want somebody who is not well educated? And who would want somebody who is illegal in the country?
So for you in your mind, you had nothing good going for you?
No. I personally put myself down anyway.
Right.
For that reason, I wasn't exposed to anything. It's like I had like a barrier. I always hide away, shy away. I remember walking around with my head down all the time, not believing in myself that I'm worth anything.
But you were only 27. That's like the peak of your age. Didn't you think that, I can go back to university, I can get my life back? Didn't you think like that?
I didn't have the motivation, and actually I didn't have the desire to do anything. And I contemplated suicide so many times.
Really?
Yes.
Did you ever try to commit suicide?
I tried, yes.
You tried?
Yes.
How did you try?
I filled a bath one evening, and I tried to do it, but I couldn't. And then the second time, I had, at that time, I knew how to drink alcohol then, so I took a lot of painkillers with a half bottle of vodka. But
did you used to drink as well?
Yes.
Really, Vida?
Yes.
You don't look like someone who used to drink.
I used to.
You used to drink.
Yes.
So it's like we were saying, while there are people fighting for their lives, if you had told someone in hospital who was about to die that you wanted to kill yourself, they would have been very angry at you because they wanted to have the youth and the time on their side that you had, because time was on your side. You were only 27, right? When you got divorced. Okay, we're gonna go into a short break. When we come back, we're gonna hear about what was the lowest point of Vida's life, but also how she turned things around. And Vida, just one last thing. Had you completely given up? I mean, if you had tried suicide, then you must have completely given up. But in your mind, did you think there was no point in living? That's it. I'm just going to get by every day. Is that how you thought?
I did, because I didn't have anyone to talk to. I lost trust in everyone, and I wouldn't open up anymore. I wouldn't tell anyone what I was going through. And I was illegal, and I didn't have a job, and I had a huge debt.
What did you have?
Nothing. I didn't have anything at the time.
You had something. You had debts. You said you had a huge debt. You had maybe youth, even though you weren't healthy. Because it's strange, because you were 27, but you were very unhealthy, right? So it's like you didn't have health even on your side. Okay, we're going to hear the rest of Vida's amazing story right after the break. Don't go anywhere.
They say that home is where the heart is, a place that should be filled with joy, security, happiness and memories. However, sometimes our own blood is the cause of most of our pain. Before you lose hope, try this. Every Thursday, come and pray for your family and receive the guidance and support that could help you all reconnect again. After all, no amount of success can compensate for a broken family. Click on to uckg.org for all the latest happenings at the UCKG Help Centre. It's dynamic, interesting and full of content that will add to your daily life. Keep up to date with all the latest info on events up and down the country at a UCKG closest to you. There's something for everyone and you're invited. Check out what we've done previously and update your calendar with what's coming up next. Ladies, especially for you, presenters and authors Nanda Becerra, Esther Becerra, Chris Cardoso and Viviane Freitas share with you advice on becoming a better woman. Read their top tips on health, beauty, love and well-being, all aimed at helping you become the woman you were created to be. And if you're looking for food for the soul and personal development, then check out messages from world-renowned spiritual leader Bishop Macedo, as well as character-building blogs from Bishops Renato and Celso Jr. It's spiritual intelligence for your life. And for all you young guys and girls, why not check out our section dedicated to youth? Real talk, real advice, and a whole lot of fun. Catch cool clips of their shows and listen to the catchiest VYG record track. Want some inspiration? Watch our live transformational videos, recent programs, plus all the promos and coverage of some of our best shows and events.
Hello, very good evening to all of you. This is Finding Answers.
Finding us is easy. Wherever you are in the UK, find the UCKG nearest to you at a click of a button. uckg.org. All you need at your fingertips.
From the moment I walked in, I felt different. It's about me, how I felt.
Just the whole environment, the whole positivity in the place, I realised that my life could change from then on.
I wanted to learn more. I wanted to know more. There I learned that there were roots to the problems that I had. And I learned how to tackle the roots of those problems.
If I keep going and listening and putting into place what's been said, then my life will always be happy.
You just need to come and hear for yourself. It's a personal thing.
Welcome back. I want to continue talking to Vida because she was telling us her, now it's no longer a sad story because you've changed your life, but had you told us your story at that point, it was very sad. Tell me something, what was the lowest point of your life, Vida? When would you say was the lowest point of your life?
The lowest point was when I realized that chronic hepatitis C was incurable. Mm-hmm. And the debts were coming up and up and up and up, and I couldn't find a job. Mm-hmm. And I remember one day that I couldn't even charge my electricity. Mm-hmm. And I went home in a very cold room, and I had to drink tap water to go to bed. Because for 3 days continuously, I hadn't had any light. So the little food that I had in my fridge was gone out.
Right.
So I had to drink tap water to sleep. That was
so that was like an extreme situation, right? Things were really bad for you. Tell me something, how did you come to the church? How did you come to know about the church?
Actually, the very day that I planned to commit suicide the third time, I was very weak then. I was really, really weak. And I don't know how I walked from my home to the Croydon shopping center. And somebody gave me a leaflet, like an A5 size leaflet. I didn't look at the leaflet. Just carry on walking to a point, and I walked back home because I didn't have money to buy a travel pass. So I went home very tired, and I fell asleep. And I just remembered that I decided to commit suicide. And I remembered the A5 leaflet the person gave me. So I look at it, and at the back of the A5, all my problems were written there.
It's like it was talking to you.
Yes, the suicidal thought, debt, immigration problems, everything.
You know, sometimes, Vida, we have these leaflets, and at the back, like you said, there are some problems for people to tick. Tick the problems that apply to you. Probably you ticked all of them.
All of them. And I wrote some of my personal problems which were not on the A4.
So you ticked all of them and added some more. My
yeah.
God. There was a lot going wrong for you.
Yeah.
So when you saw that leaflet, what happened? You
I
came to the church.
immediately rang the number at the back of the paper. And I spoke to somebody at the end of, said, oh, we have a church in Croydon. And I was foolishly arguing with the person on the other line that I've lived in Croydon for so many years and I've never seen such a church. And he said, oh, I'll give your name to whoever is in charge, go there. And I remember I was the first person to go there, even when the church was not open. I was standing by the door and they opened and I walked in. And when I walked in, it was, as in the advertisement somebody mentioned, it was the most personal and peaceful environment I've ever been. And for the first time in my life, I was able to share my problems with somebody.
Because you were saying earlier you didn't really trust anyone to open up about your problems, and you did that day.
First time, yeah. And I felt so calm within myself. And I surprised myself at the end of the day to speak to somebody, to tell somebody what I was going through. And from then on, there were so many times that I didn't even have money to go to the church, but I'll walk 2-3 times a day to go there because I felt so peaceful. And I wanted to know more what they do. And through other people's life, I could see that if other people can change, then there's a possibility that I can also change.
Right. So you started to believe that your life could change. Now you had all these problems. What was the first problem that left?
The first problem was the chronic hepatitis C.
Right.
But that wasn't my intention at the time. My intention was to be free from immigration problem and to work. But as the teaching was going on and I was learning how to use my faith, I realized that what if I acquire the immigration I overcome the immigration situation and I'm still ill? So I changed my focus on trying to get myself better. And that was the first time actually it took me a long time to be able to register with a GP. And I was transferred to King's College Hospital and I started my treatment. And the treatment was meant to be 52 weeks on steroids. And it was very difficult. But by God's grace, I was being able to finish the course within 48 weeks.
How long ago was that?
That was 2007.
2007.
Yeah.
And since then, how has your health been?
I've been to persistent checkups every now and then, but as I'm talking now, there's no trace of hepatitis in my blood. So you are
completely all clear. That's great. What about all those problems you had of lack of self-esteem and belief in yourself? Because being in a marriage where you were put down and then you were left with nothing when the marriage was over, I understand how that would put you down. But how did you overcome that?
Actually, when I came out of marriage, I was very desperate to have a companion or desperate to have a closest friend. I was always desperate, looking. But I'm not desperate any longer. I'm not desperate. Though I'm not in any relationship at the moment, but I'm not desperate.
And what about that lack of self-belief? And did those things leave you, or do you believe in yourself now?
I do believe in myself now, but it took a process. It took some time. And I had to go through processes to believe in myself. What I realized was I had to believe in myself first before anything can happen.
Right.
And there was.
What about your career, the immigration thing? How is that?
Through, as I said, it took a long process for me to understand. And what I realized through my difficult times was how to discipline myself, how to do things in a time frame. So it was one problem after the other, one problem after the other. Yeah.
So you overcame one problem at a time.
Yeah.
But today you overcome the immigration problem?
I have, yes.
What about your career?
I'm working at the moment.
Right.
Yes, I am in a full-time employment at the
Good.
moment.
And you're still in time to go to university. Did you know that?
Yes, I do.
Or you haven't thought about it yet?
I have thought about it, but as I said,
you have to do it, Vida. You have to grab your life by the scruff of the neck. You've done that because you've changed your life, right? And you know, we were talking about time earlier, and you mentioned time now as well. We live in a country, Vida. For example, in my country, where I'm originally from, a lot of people think that studying is for when you're young, right? You're young, but then when you graduate, you start working and you never study again. We live in a country here now where studying is an ongoing thing. You can do that. You can do all the things you never did before. You are already doing them because your life changed so much, but you can still do the things that you dreamt of doing when you were 24 that you mentioned earlier. Now tell me something, who is Vida today? If you are to describe yourself, your life today, who are you today?
At the moment, there's nothing that if I set my mind to, I wouldn't be able to do.
Including going to university.
And the good thing is I have self-control, and I learn in a hard way not to be desperate of doing things, because I used to take wrong decisions, as I said earlier on. But now I learn how to manage my time and how to wait at the right time to do certain things and not to be desperate.
So in this time you've been attending the church and you've learned how to use your faith. Through the prayers, through the help of the doctors, you are clear from the hepatitis C. You've solved your immigration problem. You are now in full-time employment. Do you still need to drink water, tap water to go to sleep?
No.
You have electricity in your house.
Yes, I do.
You have a dignified life,
yes.
right? And now you believe in yourself. You are a completely different person, right?
Yes.
And you have to keep going because it's not over. There's still a lot more that you can do.
Yes,
okay?
definitely.
So you went from having lost a lot of time to now making up all the time you lost, and you can still keep going forward.
Yes.
Okay, Vida, thank you so much for being here. We prepared a video. We got this video that is very interesting that I want to show you about how to maximize the time that you have. Have a look.
Dr. Dan Sigal is a psychotherapist from the University of California, Los Angeles. Here is his top tips for maximizing your time. Dr. Sigal stated that we have 24 hours in a day, and within this 24 hours, we should separate them into segments. Here are a list of these segments. Sleep time. Sleep early and get 6 to 8 hours. Meditation time. Preferably early in the morning. Exercise time. It's best to go when you are rested and full of energy. After breakfast perhaps? Relationship time. Focus on your loved ones. This is important. Be present, not checking your smartphone while talking. Downtime. This is you time. Relax and do something that is essential for you. Creative and leisure time. Take part in activities that energize and excite you. This is important so that you keep engaged in life. Focused work time. Giving your work your full attention ensures that you work to the best of your ability. Last but not least, eating. Eat a full and balanced meal every time. Dr. Sigal also explains that the key to maximizing your time is that when you are taking part in each of these segments, only concentrate on that one segment. Not organizing your time well can cause anxiety and stress.
Fully concentrate on that one segment. So for the next 10 minutes we have left of this program, fully concentrate on what we're going to do, because we're going to be making a prayer on your behalf. I have Kimberly here with me as usual. How are you, Kimberly?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay?
Yeah.
Any message, emails?
Yes, we have the mail of
Yeah.
today.
And by the way, before you start, yesterday we were talking about forgiveness and saying I'm sorry. And we were saying don't say I'm sorry just for the sake of it. And someone sent me a very interesting email. And by the way, I'm not having a go at them. I'm thanking them. Because I said when you read the email, I said, look, I'm sorry for being so honest. And if you think about it, you said I'm sorry for being so honest, but I'm not sorry for being honest. I think I just said I'm sorry because we are used to say that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sorry for being honest. And if I am very honest sometimes, I'm not sorry about it. I just hope it helps you. Go ahead, Kimberly.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. The mail of the day is, on Thursday, I'll be 55. I have hardly anything to show for it. I'm divorced. I have a son who I have not heard or seen in over 5 years. He's somewhere in Texas. I am a recovering alcoholic, 15 months. I feel lonely a lot. I live in a small studio apartment and work 5 days a week. I go to work, I come home. I go to work, I come home on my 2 days off. I have no friends. I do nothing with at all. I have no girlfriend, but then what girl will want a recovering alcoholic with emphysema, with nothing to offer? I miss my homeland, but I have been here in the UK so long that even my homeland seems foreign to me. I'm up to my ears in debt, and every day I get older. I'm so afraid I will die a lonely old man. What will it take for my life to turn around? John.
John, every day, everybody gets older, right? Now, the thing you have to think about is that at 45 years old, even though you've had a lot of things that have happened to you that are not necessarily good, if you look at people there are people who are successful in this world, that they were more or less like you, and they managed to turn things around. You know, that video that we just saw said that what is important is that you concentrate on the one thing that you're doing. And if I were to give you an advice, it would be that focus on what's most important for you right now. If it is for you to, you said that you go to work and you come home, and you go to work and you come home. If you don't like your job, focus on changing to something that you feel there's a purpose in there. Not just something that pays your bills, but something that you feel you're contributing to something in this world. Whatever it is, something that gives you pleasure. Because then that's one thing you can take off the list. And then you can think about continuing your road to full recovery from alcohol. You know, when you feel that you're sure that you've overcome that, you can take that one off the box as well. And then you can think about a relationship. Of course, for you to go into a relationship, you have to be in a happy place. Because if you're not in a happy place, you're going to make someone very unhappy. And a last advice. It seems to me that part of the problem you have is at the center of your life, at the core of your life. Perhaps you would benefit, not perhaps, for sure you would benefit from seeking the author, the maker of life, so that he can give you the peace, the fulfillment you look for. And as you do the things I've said previously, ticking those boxes, you can tick the most important box, which is having God inside of you. Once you have that, don't worry, everything else will fall back into place. Okay? I'd like to invite you now that you prepare your glass with water for us to talk to God now, to make the prayer on your behalf. And believe that no matter how much time you've lost, if you feel like you've lost a lot of time, like Vida, like John who wrote in, you can still make up for lost time. Remember this term. You can make up for lost time. You can redeem time. God can give you, in the time you have left, much more than you could have ever had before. Prepare your glass with water. Let's talk to God.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer and include you in the Finding Answers prayer book, send your name and prayer request to prayer@findinganswers.tv.
My Lord and my Father, we can cry over spilt milk all we want. We can complain and say, you know, I feel like I've wasted years of my life, and perhaps there are people saying that right now. Perhaps there are people who, at this very moment, are saying, why didn't I get that degree? Why didn't I make the most of the time I had with my kids? Why didn't I invest all my efforts in my career when I had the strength to do so? But we can spend a whole night crying over all these issues we just mentioned. Alternatively, we can start saying and thinking, what can I do to make up for everything that I have lost, including the time that I have lost? So my Lord, my prayer right now is on behalf of this person who feels like this and who needs your help to get their life back, to redeem time, to redeem the time they have left. I don't know if they have a little time or still plenty of time, but if you could restore Vida's life, I believe you can restore the life of this person as well, Holy Spirit. So in the name of the Lord Jesus, touch this person's life. Let the future be a bright one. Let the future be one where this person can still build things that others with more time would not have been able to build. That is my prayer, and I believe. Lord, when this person drinks of this water, let them be washed of all the negativity that is in their mind. This person who perhaps has been sick like Vida was, or with a different illness. This person who, my Lord, they're so troubled by different problems that they can't think that anything can be positive for them in the future. But I determine that it will be for the honor and the glory of your name. And you, dear friend, that are praying with me now, believe that when you drink of this water, God is going to make you stand. He's going to change your life, your situation, in the name of the Lord Jesus. Go ahead and drink this water with faith right now. You know, sometimes you say to yourself, if I talk to someone about my problem, how can that person help me? What good is it going to do me if I speak to someone for half an hour? But Vida, when you went to the church that first time and you spoke to someone, those minutes, I don't know how long you spoke to the pastor for, but did that help you?
It did. I felt much lighter, and I felt that the good thing about it, I felt that there's somebody there to listen to me. There's somebody ready to help me.
And could understand you.
Yeah, and there's somebody who loved me for who I am. And that made me open up more.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was the beginning. And if you say, look, I want to talk to someone, our lines are still open. They will be open for another 5-10 minutes. You can talk to someone now or send us an email. Feel free to do whatever you feel that's going to help you. And we'll be here to stand by your side. Okay? We'll be back tomorrow with you again. Until then, have a wonderful night. May God bless you.